For 4 decades, the American tobacco industry fought hundreds of lawsuits without losing a single personal injury case. They maintained this perfect record even after 1964, when the U.S. Surgeon General formally declared their product a cause of cancer. Hundreds of thousands of Americans were dying from smoking-related diseases every year. Grieving families and sick individuals filed suit after suit, yet they could never hold the companies liable. The tobacco industry engineered a structural defense system designed to grant them legal immunity, ensuring their record remained flawless regardless of the health evidence. This defense relied on 3 pillars. First, limitless resources. Second, attrition. The tobacco companies used their wealth to stretch pre-trial litigation out for years, demanding massive document productions and filing endless motions until individual plaintiffs and their attorneys simply ran out of money and time. The third pillar was the legal concept known as the assumption of risk. The industry argued that smokers chose to light up. Because they knew the dangers of cigarettes, the smoker assumed all the risk. Therefore, the corporation owed them nothing. Individual plaintiffs were trapped in a rigged game. It was mathematically and legally impossible for a single person to survive the pretrial attrition and reach a verdict. In 1994, Mississippi Attorney General Mike Moore realized he had to change the identity of the plaintiff to bypass this defense. Moore filed a lawsuit on behalf of the state of Mississippi to recover the Medicaid dollars spent treating residents with smoking-related illnesses. This move shattered the assumption of risk defense. The state government never chose to smoke, it simply paid the bills. Moore partnered with private financiers to match the industry's spending. This mix of state power and private capital destroyed the industry's attrition strategy. By surviving the initial legal barrage, the state achieved what no individual had managed. They forced the tobacco companies to open their internal archives to legal discovery. The state lawsuits generated discovery requests on a massive scale, producing a wave of internal research from the 1950s through the 1970s. These documents showed that tobacco scientists confirmed the cancer risks of smoking in private. They also detailed efforts to increase the addictive properties of nicotine to make the product harder to quit. This research directly contradicted the industry's public stance. Tobacco executives sat before Congress, testifying under oath they didn't believe nicotine was addictive, even as their scientists concluded the opposite. The resulting political crisis prompted 46 other states to copy the Mississippi lawsuit model. Facing combined liabilities that threatened their survival, the major tobacco companies signed the 1998 Master Settlement Agreement, requiring a $206 billion payout and the permanent release of their internal documents. The agreement also forced the industry to permanently end its massive domestic outdoor advertising campaigns, tearing down billboards and removing cartoon characters from tobacco marketing. By changing the plaintiff, Mike Moore weaponized the industry's own records against them, resulting in the largest civil settlement in American history. The financial burden of the $206 billion settlement was largely passed on to consumers through higher cigarette prices, rather than corporate profits. The companies remained highly profitable, and their core business model survived. To bypass the new domestic advertising rules, the industry aggressively shifted their marketing budgets into unregulated international markets. The 1998 agreement stripped away the legal invulnerability that had protected the industry for 40 years, even as their business continued. The Mississippi strategy demonstrated that defeating an immensely wealthy corporation requires shifting the structural conditions of the litigation itself. This strategy combined a state entity that had not personally assumed any risk with external funding that could not be exhausted. This same logic was applied decades later during the opioid litigation, resulting in settlements worth tens of billions of dollars from manufacturers and distributors. The tobacco industry's 40-year streak was eventually broken, not by a better moral argument, but by changing who was doing the suing.